say their HOA is telling them to take down their American flags or face fines.
Put up the one flag that represents literally every person in this country, and suddenly it's the thing that gets a letter, a fine, and a hearing. A San Marcos, California couple is being fined $100 for flying the American flag on their own garage, days before this country's 250th birthday. That flag isn't just decoration. It belongs to a man whose grandfather earned the Navy Cross and a Purple Heart fighting the Nazis in World War II. And their homeowners association wants it gone. Stick around because I'm going to show you exactly what the law says in California and also in my home state of Tennessee, as I've dealt with similar issues. Welcome back. I'm Kelly Jackson. This is Still Not Canceled. If you haven't yet, like, subscribe, join the community. Let's get started. Here's the local news report out of San Marcos. Watch this and then we'll talk about it.
Just days before Independence Day, some Southern California residents are caught up in a fight with their homeowners association. They say their HOA is telling them to take down their American flags or face fines. Correspondent Nancy Liu joins us live. So Nancy, you had a chance to speak to some of these homeowners.
I did, Nicole, and this holiday week is when a lot of Americans proudly display the stars and stripes. In this case, America 250 as well. But residents of one Southern California neighborhood say their patriotism and freedoms are under attack. Terry Collins and her husband have lived in the Ambiance townhouse complex in San Marcos since it opened in 1991. Their children grew up in the neighborhood, and they have proudly displayed an American flag on the front of their home for nearly 35 years. A flag fight surfaced 2 years ago when another resident started flying a Padres flag. Well, the HOA eventually moved to ban all flags, even Old Glory. In a previous letter, residents were told once the members allow use of a common property by an owner to express what is essentially a political or affiliative view in a flag, other owners will want to do the same, and the common area will degrade. Despite a threat of bi-monthly $100 fines, the Collins family has refused to remove their flag, and they have no intention of paying any fines.
You need to stand up for what you believe in, especially the American flag. That is our badge of honor. If we can't serve in the military, we can at least wave a flag outside of our home to show how prideful and how happy we are to live in the United States.
I think it's interesting that it has culminated to this point as we approach Independence Day and the 250th birthday of America. I think this is why this is gaining steam, and it should. Our flag is a symbol of our freedom.
Neighbors Chris and Amy Cook, they're also defying the ban, especially since this complex is near the Miramar Naval Base and Camp Pendleton. Both families met with the HOA last night, and they were told the panel would table this dispute for 60 days. Now, NewsNation, we reached out to the Ambiance HOA for comment, but so far, no response. Nicole?
All right, so Nancy, isn't displaying the flag covered by federal law? How can a homeowners association do something like this?
Well, the Freedom to Display the American Flag Act of 2005, it does protect a person's right to fly the flag on their property. HOAs cannot ban the U.S. flag outright, but they can enforce particular requirements. And, you know, there are HOA flag fights all over America right now. In North Carolina, an HOA has served notice to a police veteran over his display of the thin blue line flag, which also honors fallen officers. In South Carolina, a Myrtle Beach homeowner is battling his HOA over the additional flags he's put up inside his screened porch. He argues the flag should be exempt since they're hung from inside. And in multiple communities all over the place, including this one in Austin, Texas, there are ongoing disputes over the display of pride flags. But in many instances, the U.S. flag, the symbol of our country, that is an exception.
Wow.
Nicole?
All right, Nancy Lou, thank you.
Just sit with that for a second. We are a country that just spent a week celebrating 250 years of independence. Fireworks over every major city. The display in Nashville here was unbelievable. Flags on every other porch from Maine to Texas. And in the middle of all of that, in California, a couple gets a letter telling them that their American flag is a code violation. Not a swastika, not a cartel flag, the stars and the stripes. Have we really gotten to a place in this country where in some of these blue state HOAs, flying the actual national flag has become the thing people file a complaint over? Not is it too big, not is the pole a hazard. The underlying instinct that a flag on a garage is a problem to be solved in the first place. When did that become a normal reaction for anybody to have? People fly, and especially here in Tennessee, Gadsden flags, college football flags, those are all over my neighborhood. Live, laugh, love flags, 30 different opinions on 30 different porches, and nobody blinks. But put up the one flag that represents literally every person in this country, and suddenly it's the thing that gets a letter, a fine, and a hearing. That's not really about common area technicalities, if we're honest about the mood behind it. The federal law, everybody quotes, is mostly bark and no bite. That 2005 federal law the reporter mentioned, it says HOAs can't ban the flag, and it sounds airtight, but courts have ruled it has no actual way for homeowners to enforce it. No right to sue under it. It's a strongly worded suggestion, not a weapon. No teeth. The real protection is the state law, and in most cases, that's generally going to be the rule, is the state law. California Civil Code 4705. It bans HOAs from restricting the flag on your own property, and if a homeowner sues and wins, the HOA has to pay their attorney's fees. That's what gives it teeth. The one wrinkle in this specific case is the HOA claims the bracket is on common area property, not the crook's own space. And that's genuinely the question that this last Tuesday's hearing had to settle. It doesn't make the HOA's instinct here any less petty, but it's not an automatic slam dunk either. Meanwhile, here in Tennessee, I deal with a version of this myself in this red state. And unlike the Cooks, I've already had my fight twice. I anticipate having it so long as I live here. But fortunately, so far, I've won both times. Tennessee's state law protects political and campaign signs the same way that California law protects the flag. Every election season, though, like clockwork, I get the letter telling me to take my candidate signs down. Both times, I cite the statute right back at their attorney, which you know he has to know better, and yet they push back. Both times, eventually, they backed off because it was clear that I wasn't just some Joe citizen who didn't know their rights, because the law is genuinely on the homeowner's side. One honest note, that protection only kicks in during the 60 days before an election. And unlike in California, Tennessee doesn't have that same attorney fee provision. So you're right, but you're on your own to enforce it. And boy, have I felt that. But if you know what your rights are, it's easier to assert them than you would think. That instinct, let's make the flag the problem, didn't come out of nowhere, and it's worth noticing wherever you see it, HOA board or cable news panel. But the law is mostly on the side of the person flying it if you know it and you use it. Put your demand in writing and cite your state statute, and don't let anybody bluff you with a federal law that sounds tough and isn't. Hopefully the Cooks and their neighbors' hearing will go well, and I'll try to keep on top of that outcome and maybe report it back to you if it makes national news, which sometimes a win doesn't tend to, but we'll see. Again, my name is Kelly Jackson. This is Still Not Canceled. I'm going to ask you once again to like and subscribe and join the community, and also make sure to put a comment in the comments section if you have anything to say about this segment, or if there's a topic that you would really like to see me dig into. I would love to accommodate you. Thanks so much. I will see you on the next one.